Well, hello there, all YouTubers, modelers, everyone. This is the final reveal for the Airfix Das Boat 1/400 scale U-boat type 7C. And I must admit, I'm not particularly in reveal mode mentally at the moment, but I'm going to give it a go anyway, as time is money and all that. But yeah, so this is kind of a case of perseverance. Occasionally does really pay off. Well, I think it's paid off in this little tiny instance anyway. Just when I was about to sort of concede that the build was kind of ruined or a bit too badly damaged due to sort of parts breakage, I thought, as I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos, maybe this little thing should go in the bin, but it seemed a bit cruel. So I just carried on basically. Tried to fix the parts with wire, which I think I pulled it off, and then it looked too bad. But I think what turned it round was a kind of, oh well, sort of stuff this, let's just get on with the painting. So got the paints out, started washing away and layering in, and before you know it, I realised I'd had in mind that I was going to mask off the water line, so I'd get a nice crisp line from the deck area down, just a few, well I guess in real life it would be a few feet, and then onto the black part of the hull, so we'd have a good demarcation line there. Anyway, in the end I just ended up brushing it on freehand, and I was rather pleased with the result. Pretty straight line, and it's toned down quite nicely. Anyway, enough of me blathering on. Let's just have a quick look. There will be some photos at the end of this video. So there she is, in all her sinister glory. But fixed up a little a tiny diorama with it. I've adopted the stand and then painted in there. Got these lurid colours of the I guess it'd be oil burning on the surface of the sea in real life, ships burning, all that kind of thing. But so here's along the waterline there, that was all done freehand, and I'm actually pleased with that painting without wishing to sound boastful, which that's not the intention. It's just that I'm really pleased with the way that came off, because it was one of those days where that was the last thing I thought it was going to end up like. I thought we were going to have to be masking and taking it off and then retouching. But anyway, I've kind of toned the hull down as well. It's not too black. Played around with the greys. There's a fair amount of detail on the decking. It's not too bad, with a dark brown, slightly blackish wash on there. Clear coated it a few times, and then added on more layers. Put on the decals. Speaking of which, the little Kriegsmarine flag, or the German naval flag at the back there, was an absolute nightmare to get on, for me anyway. Teenagers with nimble fingers, it might not be a problem, but for me, God knows how I managed to fold it round onto that masthead there and have it resembling a flag without the decal actually snapping. Saves a lot for Airfix, because it's a ridiculously tiny decal. Anyway, I was just lucky. The thing fell into place. It was one of those days when the build just seemed to all go right, decal wise anyway. Although there's only two lots of decals. There's the U96 with the little I think it's a swordfish graphic, which is all one, the number and the swordfish. So you've got one on each side, and then like I say, the Kriegsmarine flag. That's it. But just to add sort of a extra detailed touch to it, I thought let's stretch some sprues, as I've never really done this before, and get some rigging on there. So without further ado, messing about, I got hold of some sprues and the old time-honoured method of the lighter. Stretch the sprue, cut them to the right size, paint them up, and glued them on there with actually I didn't think I used the poly cement for that. I think I super glued those on because they did fall off a couple of times. So and there we are, and then painted up the stand a little bit. I mean, it's not a complicated diorama by any stretch of the imagination, but it adds a bit of depth and colour to it. Lets the imagination roam a little bit more, so he thinks. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little waffle explanation. So in the end, it turned out to be what I would call a happy little build. But I do want to give the small kits a rest for a while. Probably a bigger kit next. Or at least, 172, he says. Although I've got some small. I think I've got a 176 Airfix Tiger tank, or King Tiger, one of those, or both of them. So they could possibly be next, but I'm not quite sure yet. I've got a few things left in the stash. So yeah, that's it. Bob's your uncle, and we have finished this little U-boat Type 7C, and I think it's a cracking little model personally. At least it looks like a U-boat now anyway. It didn't last week. So thanks for listening and watching, and I will put a few photos on the end of this video for your enjoyment, and hope you enjoy looking at them, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Happy modelling.